Here comes Ramirez on the steal. She's going to pull up for three, and that's a dagger. What a shot after the steal from Annette Ramirez.
Shotgun, takes a hand up, looks to throw, fires it up the middle of the field. It is. Oh!
Jeffries across the timeline. Shot clock is dark. Four to shoot. Jeffries inside. Gets to the rim. Welcome to this month's episode of Blue Jay Talk on the Blue Jay Sports Network. I'm Noah Carter, and I will once again be your host. On this month's episode, we have a couple women's basketball players coming on, as well as a softball player, a baseball player, a member of the women's track and field team, and the first ever wrestling All-American in school history in Montgomery Mills. I'm here with Caragan, Lockard, and Annette Ramirez from the women's basketball team. So you guys had a pretty good season, obviously. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely had a slow start in the beginning. Took a little bit to mesh together, but I mean, by the time conference hit, I feel like we had a few losses that kind of like, I don't know.
Set us back a little bit.
Yeah. But, just after overcoming those and going through that, we were kind of like, all right, guys, like we got to get the ball rolling. And then we started to and made it to the championship game again. So I don't know if you want to add on to that.
Yeah, I mean, like Annette said, we did have a slow start, and I just think it was because we had a lot of new faces coming in. Like, we had a big freshman class this year, and everybody was still trying to mesh together, like, when in practice, and then they would get minutes in the game. But there towards the end, we all just meshed, like, friendship-wise, and that also translated to being on the court together.
So you mentioned kind of the friendship thing. So how does that, like, play a factor as a whole? Like, not just on the court, but in school in general, like seeing your teammates around campus and everything.
I love walking around and seeing my friends, like, walk into class. Like, I'll always honk at them because I'm always driving to class. And then also my roommates, we are all really tight. Like, I live with Chloe, Liv, Miley, and Evelina and Annette. And we've lived together for the past 2 years. And Annette and I have roomed together for the past 3 years. And it really does make a difference when you're best friends with everybody on your team because you feel like you have that family piece that you've been needing.
Yeah, and definitely, like, just trust on and off the court as well because, we spend a lot of time together, and I feel like we do a good job of, I mean, it could always be better, but I feel like this year we kind of made it more of a statement to try and get everybody together, like, outside of practice and whatnot. And so just building that trust off the court, and then once we're on the court, I feel like it really translated to our game.
Yeah, so you guys mentioned being roommates. What's that like, getting to share the court with your roommates all the time?
It was cool because our freshman year, like the first time we ever met each other was for like a scrimmage here, and Caragan, I remember specifically, she was like, "Hey, so like who am I rooming with?" She's like, "Oh, it's you and Annette." And we just kind of like looked at each other and we're like, "Oh,
hey."
Yeah," because we never like I've never heard of Caragan, I've never heard of her town, her school, like, and so we roomed together and ultimately basically became like best friends. And then once we got to like move to the townhouse, she was like, "Oh, do you want to room together?" I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." And then we roomed together the next year. And then, yeah, I don't know if you want to hit on that.
It was really like kind of awkward in the beginning too because we didn't like Snapchat or text all summer. We just like jumped right into being roommates.
Yeah, and I tried to snap her and I said something, she just left me unopened. And I was like, dang, she already hates me.
No, I'm just not a very what do you want to call it? Like texty person.
Yeah.
But anyways.
Well, learn that.
It was like we didn't actually become really close friends until probably like November. Because my aunt died in October, and she didn't even know know if she could like hug me, and I was like, oh, we're not to that point yet. But then I'm like, oh yeah, Annette's definitely gonna be my maid of honor.
And then lastly, Annette set multiple records this year, points in a season, as well as you're now the all-time leading scorer here at Westminster. What's that like, and how did your teammates play a factor in that as well?
Yeah, I was going to say, I know I've said it before, and I'll say it all the time, but I could not have done it without all of those girls. Like, it's so crazy because I, like, these awards that are the records that I've gotten, like, I had no idea about, and, like, usually they do, and they're just, like, ready. So, like, whenever I scored my 1,000th point, I had no clue, and Caragan actually kind of, like, set everything up, and they made signs and gave them out to the fans, and I don't know how I didn't even, like, notice people, like, holding them. But, no, yeah, so she kind of had a big play in that, but also just, like, points in a season.
Yeah.
Is what it was. But, no, yeah, it's really cool just because, you know, it's just, like, a testament to how we are as, like, teammates. And I'm sure, like, if you go back and watch, and there's a video out there where, like, they're lifting me up, and, you know, and people are, like, chanting and stuff like that. And, no, it's just really cool. And not only, like, just for this season, but, I mean, I've had a lot of great teammates in previous years that have, like, really helped me. And, like, for one, I talk to Shelby about it all the time. Like, she's helped me grow a lot just as a person and as well as a player. But I'm just super thankful to have met, like, everyone along the way because, you know, they play a big role in not only how I play but outside of here.
You mentioned about Shelby before you and some others. So what is a message that either one of you can deliver to some of the incoming freshmen and transfers?
Mm-hmm. I just think play with your heart and not your head. I think we spoke about that a few times in the locker room this season, and it really set with me. And, like, just go out there and give it all because you're going to come in and you're going to be nervous. You're a freshman. You're playing with girls that are 4 years older than you. And that's how I think all of us freshman year felt. We were intimidated, but it's just more about coming in here and playing because you love the sport.
Yeah, I would just say, like, legit just leave it all out there because time flies and it's insane. Like, I feel like I haven't been here for 3 years, and it's insane for me to think that, like, next year's it, and, like, that's kind of, like, the last shot that I have. So I just say, like, go out there and have fun, and, like, don't get, like, too caught up in whatever, like, everybody else is saying or whatnot. Like, people are going to make remarks and whatever, but just go out there and have fun.
Yeah, these past 2 seasons, too, especially later on in this season specifically, you guys mentioned to leave it all out there. There's been a lot of people supporting you guys in the stands. What's the atmosphere been like?
Oh, this year it was great. Like, I know the football team came out there, and the volleyball girls were there a lot, too, because we had a few double sport athletes on our team. They played volleyball. And having, like, a full gym really does impact, like, how we feel during the game. Because whenever the fan section's rowdy, we're feeling it. And it's just, like, especially when the band comes.
Oh, man.
That's the best game
Shout
ever.
out to the Fulton band. Fulton High
Yes.
School band.
They
amazing.
do such a good job.
They're
And it was
amazing.
just perfect because it was the day that Annette got her 1,000 too. So it was like nothing could have been better. But yeah, the atmosphere totally it's just the best whenever students and families are here at
Yeah,
the gym.
and I feel like we play better too whenever we have a lot of people. Like, I know, like, personally for me, I probably had my best games whenever everybody, like, was there, I guess,
Yeah.
and just, like, being rowdy and trying to get into, like, the other team's head or whatever. But no, the atmosphere definitely plays a huge part. And it was just cool to see because I don't know if I've ever, like, experienced a crowd like that, like, here while I've been here. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it was good to see, like, at the end of the season, and I hope that we can make that consistent, not only just for our sport, but, like, for the football team or softball, baseball teams, like, and all the sports that are here.
Well, thank you guys for coming on.
Thanks for having
Yeah,
us.
thank you.
Museums allow us to celebrate humanity's soaring achievements while also providing lessons on how to avoid the mistakes of our past. They can also amplify the voices of underrepresented groups while bringing economic uplift to communities. We invite you to explore this world while finding a rewarding career by becoming a Museum Studies major at Westminster College.
Emily Esquivel of the softball team, senior outfielder, is here with me. You're having a good season so far, getting on base at over a 50% clip. What has gone into that, getting to this point?
Yeah, well, first, thank you for having me. I've seen your guys' podcast, and I love seeing all the episodes. But being a leadoff, I do have a few tools that I could offer, such as bunting, hitting, slapping, and being patient and even walking sometimes. So it's really just all of that, and I know I could trust my teammates to get me back home.
So you mentioned the leadoff side of things. How does that adapt your approach? Is it different hitting the leadoff spot as opposed to hitting somewhere down in the order? Is that what plays into such patience at the plate?
Yeah, it is sometimes hard being patient. But I know as a leadoff, my job is to make the pitcher throw as many pitches as she can to not only see the strike zone for her or for the umpire, but also sometimes even tire her out. So, I mean, usually my first at-bat, I try to even reach to, like, full count, 3-2. But later in the game, I kind of just swing at what I want to swing at.
So, then to moving on, after a big win against Hairstow, now you're getting ready to head back to Florida, a place I know you all enjoy going to. I'm sure excited about that. What kinds of challenges come with a trip like that?
The first challenge I could think of is right now we have quite a few injuries, and that kind of is affecting us since we're a small team this year. But I trust Ryan. We all trust him. They're doing their treatments, so I'm sure we'll be prepared for next week. And another challenge would probably be some of the teams we're facing are nationally ranked. But with challenge comes opportunity, so I'm sure we'll give it all we got, and whatever happens, happens.
You mentioned nationally ranked. Does that change your approach when it comes to leading up to a game, or does every game kind of mean the same thing to you?
In a way it does. I feel like when we face teams like that, we try to bring out more energy than we usually do, especially with Tufts University being our last game. I think last year they were like ranked first or second. And since they're the last game, obviously we're going to try to play the best we can. So it's just...
So what are you most looking forward to on that trip?
On the trip, I mean, just as a senior, I kind of really just look forward to any small thing. It's my last trip. So even when it comes to, like, I'm looking forward to the first game towards the last, even the team bonding events we have after that. I'm looking forward to the beach, and we're going to Disney World this year too. So all good things.
Well, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Today's typical college student is no longer the recent high school graduate. Almost half of all college students in the United States are age 24 or older, and they have busy lifestyles. They have families, they work part-time jobs or full-time jobs, and they want to earn a college degree. As you could imagine, the traditional college experience just doesn't work for them. Westminster College has a rich history of excellence in cultivating leaders, and now we can take that experience beyond our campus. We're proud to announce the launch of Westminster Online. It's designed to be flexible and to meet your needs. This program runs in back-to-back 7-week sessions, so you can finish your degree faster. It's 100% online, so you can attend class on your schedule. You can choose to major in either business administration, organizational leadership, or in psychology. Westminster Online is affordable, and if you need to pause your studies, because life happens, you can do that. You're able to sit out a session and then come back when you're ready. Check out our website at wcmo.edu to learn more.
I'm here with Troy Romero of the baseball team. Troy, you got Player of the Week for a big series against Grinnell and against McKendree. Can you tell me a little bit about that and your season as a whole?
I'll talk about the season first. Going into that weekend, it was a big week in general, honestly, because we just came off of Millsaps getting swept, so we know we had to get back to work that week. Tuesday, we went to McKendree, a D2 team, and there was a lot of positives to that, even though we lost, but there was a lot of positives to that. And then going into that Grinnell series, personally, I was just trying to do my own thing, continue hitting the ball like I've been doing. And the team really stepped up. Hitting was really good that weekend. I mean, it was just a really good overall team week that week.
Yeah, and to build off of that, I know you hit a couple home runs, balls flying. What's it like, the sauce, when the ball's flying?
When the sauce flying, it's a lot of fun when the sauce is when the wind's howling out at the sauce, because it's almost like you put that ball, if you hit a good contact, put that ball in the air, it's going to go pretty far.
Yeah, and the wind's going to be blowing pretty good this weekend, and next week you host Fontbonne and Principia. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
First conference games, we're looking for a really good start, hopefully to set the tone for the rest of the conference and the rest of the year. Honestly, Tuesday, I just hope, personally, I'm going to go out there and try and do what I normally do and have the same approach. I'm not going to really be thinking about the win and trying to repeat what I did at Grinnell. But, it's going to take all of us, and it's going to be a lot of fun, and I can't wait.
Yeah, and in general, do you have any goals with the conference season for yourself or for the team?
For the team, I just want to beat the teams we're supposed to beat, and then honestly upset a lot of teams too, like Spalding, Webster. We beat them. We took the series from them last year, so we're going to try and do that again this year. They're big teams to beat, and hopefully we can do that.
Sounds good. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Museum Studies at Westminster is a program where students create and curate exhibitions, design programs, ask challenging questions, and above all, blend history, heritage, and culture in a way that informs and inspires. We invite you to join us at Westminster and be a part of history in a way that not only preserves the past, but through the power of museums, helps to build a better future.
Kalie Strayhorn of the women's track and field team is here with me. Kalie, you broke the school record in the 100 and 200 meter, and in the 200 meter, it's also the sixth fastest time in NCAA D3. Being a freshman, what's that been like, and how does that feel?
I definitely feel very blessed to be here and to be able to do that, and it's exciting. I'm hoping that this is an opportunity to help build the team and to just continue to get better.
Yeah, so as far as building the team goes, is there anything you're trying to do to get some of your friends maybe, or just people in the track and field area to come here?
I have definitely been reaching out to the seniors at my high school. I sent them over the form to fill out in case if they were interested in coming here, and I've been trying to recruit around campus, but it hasn't really been working out for me. A lot of people say they don't like running.
Yeah, what do you like most about running track here at Westminster?
I like my team a lot. I like the support that I get from them. I like how everybody comes and supports me, and everybody comes and supports everybody while their events are going on.
So is there anything that you're doing to try to prepare now for outdoor season, now that indoor season's getting close to wrapping up?
I'm really just doing the same things, continuing to go to practice, and I'm there 4 times a week and continuing to do weights. Just, yeah.
So to elaborate on that a little bit, is there anything you do outside of the team stuff, or is it just kind of what happens with the team is kind of how you get prepared?
Usually what happens with the team, but I do recovery stuff. I'll take ice baths or roll out on my own or use my compression sleeve things before meets to make sure that I have the best performance that I can.
Yeah, thank you for coming on.
Thank you guys.
The way we consume digital media in our world is constantly changing. The way we learn about it needs to change at that same pace. At Westminster College, we're putting you at the forefront of this interdisciplinary research by letting you experience firsthand some of these changes so you'll be better prepared to create it yourself when you leave our campus. In our labs, you'll experience cutting-edge technologies that will prepare you for a career in whichever sector of digital media that you're comfortable. You won't just hear about digital media, you'll experience it yourself.
Montgomery Mills of the wrestling team is here next. Montgomery, placed third in nationals, your first All-American in school history. But first off, tell me a little bit about what that experience was like just going to nationals.
Well, going to nationals with wrestling, you got to get through districts first, like most other sports. But with wrestling, it's very much individuals go, not a whole team. So it's very much you got to dig it and find out of yourself. So getting there in the first place was a wonderful experience. I got third in regionals or districts or conference, whatever you want to call it, depending on which sport you're in, which division you're in. But getting through that was really the hard part. Once we're there, it's just all gravy after that. To me, getting to nationals was, like I said, the difficult part. But nationals itself, it did not feel any more astounding or amazing in a certain way because I did the hard part. I got there. Now that I'm here, I was thinking to myself, everything I do from here on is just, I feel better about myself. This is awesome. This is great. But during it, I decided at some point during the day, I can't remember when, that I just got to win these first 2 matches on the first day. That's all I focused on. Getting 2 matches means you're an All-American. Winning 2 matches on the first day, immediate All-American. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. No one can take that from you. And just each time I would move to a next round or next something, it would be, I just got to win the next one, or I just got to do this much. It was a matter of I kept reducing it almost in my mind, constantly making it not as big of a deal so I wouldn't get nervous, so I wouldn't feel panicked, so I wouldn't feel sick to my stomach, so I could eat or drink or whatnot. I wanted to make sure I was feeling good. So I can't say how the experience was for everyone, but for myself, it did not feel like a big deal because I was doing my best to not make it a big deal. Not making it a big deal, I'd say, is what led to my success and led to my opponents maybe making mistakes against me.
So to build off of that, so just in general, I mean, we were watching your match. There's a lot of people there. So you just tone them out? Like, what do you do with that?
It's actually surprisingly difficult to hear in the middle of a wrestling match. Even if you're just the only guy going at the same time, it's very hard to hear. Most times in wrestling matches, at the time they had 6 matches going. So you have to really focus in because if that ref blows his whistle and you keep going, it's not that he's going to penalize you for it, but that's just wasted energy. You can't do that. There's a statement, wrestling's the hardest 7 minutes of your life, so you have to pay attention to the cues from the ref so you know when to go, know when to stop, so you don't waste anything. It's even hard to hear my coaches. Headgear, in wrestling, you gotta wear headgear. When the blood gets pumping, when you get moving, rubbing against each other, headgear, especially hard plastic headgear, it makes a very loud noise whenever you touch them to one another or if someone's grabbing it. So it gets really hard to hear. Even my coaches sitting within 10 to 20 foot away from me, screaming their heads off at me. It's super hard to hear. And especially in that moment, it's very much a fight or flight, and if you get caught up in listening to anything else and your opponent's focused on you, you're in trouble. So toning it out is not necessarily, by this point, a conscious effort. Before the matches it is, toning everything out, getting focused. But during the match, it's not a conscious effort because you're going. You are too focused in on this other guy across from you. Only thing that matters is you, the ref, and the guy across from you. And I'd say it'd be more difficult to be looking up and around and saying, hey, what's that dude in the crowd doing over there with the shirt off or something like that.
So lastly, to build off of all that, what's it like to be the first All-American in school history?
I'm going to be honest, I don't know how to feel yet. This is my last year of athletics. I'm a fifth-year senior thanks to COVID year. So I'm very happy I won. Very, very happy. I'm very thankful all the support, all the good jobs, all the high fives, even being here. I'm very thankful, that's awesome. But right now, I'm still dealing with the fact that my career's over. I could try to go to like a big U.S. Open, but it's an Olympic year. I'm probably not going to do too well. It's just every national champion from the past 10 years that can still walk is going to be there, and those guys are going to be pretty serious. So it feels great. Again, I love the support. I love representing the college best I can, representing the team, and all the hard work. But it's just a matter of I'm done. So I'm dealing with that right now. It's balancing itself, so I'm not overly happy, but I'm not sad either. So being the first All-American, great honor, great opportunity, and I'm glad I could give our school its first All-American. I thought there had been someone way back when, and it's awesome. It's just got to deal with that. It's over now. If I was younger, I'd probably also argue, season's over, I got to just get ready for the next one. Right now, it doesn't matter. But that's just kind of how I work. I don't like this big guys that say these guys that sit there and say I'm satisfied with what I've done, because I would always want more. I got third, why couldn't I have gotten first? Things like that. But since it's over, I'm having to deal with that. That's about all I can say, but other than that, awesome. It feels amazing. I'm happy with myself. I'm proud of what I did. Family's proud, school's proud, coach is proud, all that stuff. And that feels awesome, of course.
So if you had one message to deliver to the younger wrestlers on the roster that'll be back next year and some incomers, what is it?
It's just another tournament. That's all it is. Every tournament is just another tournament. They're not gonna, just because it's districts or nationals or conference or some open tournament that we picked up because we had nothing better to do. All of them are just another tournament. The guys across from you are going to weigh within 5 pounds of you. After weigh-ins, of course. When they weigh in, they'll weigh about the same. But within 5 pounds afterwards, because everyone's going to eat and drink, they're going to weigh about the same as you. They're going to be hard workers, too. They're going to be all this kind of stuff. They're not going to grow a third arm or a third leg and take you over that way. They're not aliens. They can't turn their whole body around 360 degrees, not like an owl's head or anything like that. They're human beings just like you. It's just another tournament. And if you're confident that you've been working, putting in the work, doing what you're supposed to, there should be no nerves, because it's a matter of you did what you're supposed to. The outcome of that, if you continue to do what you're supposed to and not being nervous, not being scared, not blowing it out of proportion or anything like that, not letting the weight or the tournament's scale get to you, what happens next should not be scary, because maybe they're just better. Sometimes it sucks to say it, but sometimes people are just better than you. And it's unfortunate that happens, but you can't let that destroy you. You can't let the fear of that being a potential scare you. So every tournament is just another tournament. Every match is just another match. There's not gonna be 2 guys across from you. It's gonna be one guy, you and him. And if you did everything right, you gotta work hard, train hard, think through things, get your nerves right, make sure you don't cut your weight too bad and get sick. If all those things are done well, nerves should not exist, because after that, it's just a matter of either sometimes who wants it more, or a matter of is what you did in preparation better than what they did in preparation, or something along those lines. So for younger guys coming in, wrestlers all ages, heck, even probably some other sports too, it's just another athlete, it's just another match, it's just another tournament, and none of that means anything more than the one before until afterwards. You don't get your hand raised until it's over. You don't get your medal until it's all over. Don't worry about it until it's over.
Thank you for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me.
Here comes Ramirez on the steal. She's going to pull up for 3, and that's a dagger. What a shot after the steal from Annette Ramirez. Shotgun, takes the hand up with the throw, fires it up the middle of the field. It is Jeffrey across the timeline. Shot clock is dark. 4 to shoot. Jeffrey's inside. Gets to the rim.